You tell me when. You're good? All right, we'll call the neighborhood, the Skiloft neighborhood meeting to order. Want to welcome everybody for coming. Last time we met was the end of October, where we did the last neighborhood meeting, and we thought we'd do this one just before we got the project started. And before we get too far, let me introduce everyone that's here. So we've got our mayor, Widener Abernathy's here. Councilman Michael Stanford, raise your hand. Councilman Kelly Malang slid into the back. Our police chief, Kim Barnett. Our police captain in the back, Gary Miller. Benji Thomas is the project engineer from West Consultants. Daniel Davis is our utility director, and he'll be the project manager for the town. Kate Gravanis is our EDC coordinator, and she handles the communications for the project. Emily Hayes is our clerk, and Matthew Clausen walked in. He's going to be fixing problems for us. And I'm Bob Pudney. I'm your town manager. So what we wanted to do today, we're going to start the project the end of this month, April 1st. So we wanted to have an opportunity to meet with the neighborhood, bring you up to speed, what's going on, what to expect, more importantly, answer your questions. Kate received a list of questions that we're going to answer today. But more importantly, if you've got questions that you brought to the meeting or you think of it while we're here, I'd like you to come up so that we can get you on the mic, ask your question, and we should be able to give you an answer. We are live streaming it on YouTube today, similar to a council meeting, and we're going to record it so that those who couldn't be here can watch it. And the whole idea is to get everybody up to speed on what's going on, what to expect. So let me get started with a project update. We're ready to go. April 1st at 8 o'clock. We had a pre-construction meeting this week with all the people who are involved. We have one main contractor. If you remember from the project, we decided to have one contractor that would be responsible for the entire project. And they'll be doing work for the Mountain Electric, as well as Skyline and Spectrum Cable. So there'll only be one contractor that I'll hold responsible for the job. We don't have time, so we won't have any of this, I'm waiting for him, I'm waiting for this piece of equipment. It's going to be one contractor, and that was by design. So we are ready to go. It's going to start at 8 o'clock on April 1st, which is a Monday, and I'll go through that timeline in just a minute. All the materials have been purchased, ordered. They're either on site or available. We've got material in different sites. We've put together a staging area across the street. You'll see the containers which belong to the contractor, and you'll see fire hydrants on top. There's sewer line and water line behind it. The whole idea is to have all the materials here before we start. As you all know, the deal is let's get this done as quickly as possible. And the only way to do that is to have all the parts and pieces here and ready to go. So that's here. And that staging area has been put together, and that's where we'll have most of the material staged over there. So to review the project, we're going to replace all the water line, all the sewer line, all the electric, some of the transformers, some of the meter pedestals, and the communications, the dry utilities we call it. They'll be replacing all the telephone and the cable that goes up the road. Last but not least, I drove up there yesterday, and that road's in sad shape, if you even call it a road. But we're going to replace the road in its entirety, the road bed, the asphalt pavement, and we're installing concrete stormwater drivable gutters on each side of the road so that it won't be a curb. As you all know, there's parking issues up there. So we wanted to make sure that we control the stormwater that comes down Skiloft, but we need to be able to have you and your guests drive over that valley. It's a concrete valley gutter, so it's drivable. So that's the project in a nutshell. And then we've got some ancillary issues. There are some encroachments on private encroachments that were found to be in the town right away. Those are going to be relocated back to private property. So it could be steps, it could be stairs, it could be rock walls, things like that. That's part of the project, as well as retaining walls. We've got a number of small retaining walls that need to be moved, rebuilt, reconfigured to better handle, well, to get out of the right-of-way so that we can build the road, but as importantly, to better handle the stormwater. The big retaining wall is up at the top, which is where the Mullins are, and that's as we go into beach top. That's still under design. That's a somewhat difficult wall, but there's been some conversation via the elected officials that wasn't in the project. That's not true. The wall is currently being final designed, and that's in the project. And that will be, those rocks will be removed, and it will be an engineered concrete type wall. I don't have the design to show anybody, but I talked with our engineer, and that's underway. We'll have that in place. So that's the project. Soup to nuts, and we guaranteed we do it within 180 days. Not an easy thing to do, but we think we know we have a plan to get it done. We've got a good contractor. They've got a good plan on how to implement it, materials. So we're ready to go, and we're going to start April 1st. We'll be done by September 30th. And the contract is designed that there are substantial penalties for the contractor not to meet certain deadlines in the contract. And typically in these type of contracts, when you put penalties in, they simply build that into their price. It doesn't guarantee completion at a certain time. In this particular case, as you know, we need assurances that it's going to be done within the 180 days. So the town built in substantial incentives. We went the other way. We have penalties, but we went the other way with incentives. And we built in substantial incentives with milestones that if the contractor exceeds the time, gets the project done earlier than the milestone requires, then there's substantial daily incentives. And that's our way, we believe, of incentivizing the contractor to get the work done. Got to be done. I mean, this project has to be done. So that's built in, and it's substantial dollars. So we think with everything that we've put in place, we believe we'll get this done, and we'll get it done within the 180 days. Now, there's been some discussion about, well, what does that mean? Is all the pavement down? Is the grass growing? No. The utilities will be back on. All the utilities will be back on. There'll be a drivable surface of pavement. It will not be the final layer of pavement. We've decided to wait until the spring to put in the final layer of pavement for many reasons, timing being one, but two, since we're doing so much work underground, it's feasible that we'll have issues that come up, and we don't want to dig up brand new finished pavement to fix a leak, fix a connection, we forgot a pipe connection, something like that. So by September 30th, the milestone calls for the first layer and drivable access to your properties with all the utilities back, water, sewer, electric. And then we'll come back in the springtime once everything's been working for a few months, final pave it, stripe it, put down the reflectors, and the project will be done. So September 30th, you'll have access to your property. You'll be able to occupy it. You'll be able to rent it. The road that you'll have at the time, in my opinion, will be far better than what you have right now. And that won't be the finished project. So I want to make sure everybody's expectations are the same as what we're going forward with. So let's see. Let's talk about funding. The project is funded 100% by grants. We received some substantial funding from a number of grants and the general fund. The town general fund is contributing to this project. As you know, if you were here along the way, the bids came in substantially higher than what was anticipated and what the grant funding was for. So we will have to put in some money from the general fund. This is in lieu of an assessment. There has been talk for months about, well, the town was threatening to assess us. That's not true. We're funding this out of grant money. However, the water and utility, we have the ability to assess. And so there is no assessment anticipated at this time. We're gonna fund it out of grant money. It's almost $5 million project and some general fund money, and there's no assessment that's anticipated. So let's clear the air on that one. We talked about the timeline. Talked about penalties. I'd like now to just bring you up to speed on the public safety plan. I'm going to ask the police chief to give you an update. Many of you know that insurance companies, homeowners insurance companies, reached out to you and reached out to us, and Kate was instrumental in working with them. Because you're not going to be in the home, they were nervous about insuring it, and there was some conversation whether it was an abandoned or unoccupied home and things like that. We've worked with the insurance company and come up with a enhanced public safety plan, which was adopted by the town council. And the police chief was instrumental in putting that together. And would you go through your issues and how you're going to run that show?
As far as making sure that your area or your homes are checked on every day, the officers are going to be doing routine patrols up through there. We are going to be able to access the roadway via our UTV and or by ski beach ski slopes. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be done daily, nightly. Also, we now have 5 drone pilots, 3 of which are my police officers. We have a drone. They are licensed. They are ready to fly. So we're also going to be flying, looking at the homes and at the project throughout the whole process with the drone. And lastly, we've got light towers we're going to be set up strategically along Skiloft Road, and those are going to be lit up at night, and we're going to try to keep it as daylight up there as we possibly can. So everything that we're trying to do, we're trying to keep the general public out as far as looky-loos, if you want to call them that, and just deter anybody from going up there trying to get a free ticket to something else. So I appreciate everybody's questions. If you have anything, just give me a call.
Will there be no can you put no trespassing signs up there, or since it's public property, can you do that?
No,
Keep people out?
we can't enforce it. So the road will be barricaded with concrete barricades, plus it'll be dug up. I mean, you won't be able to drive your pickup truck up there to steal something out of the house. One of the concerns the chief and I have is that this is a very public project. We've spent a lot of time, we've had a lot of outreach, and so, you know, nefarious people may know that there's an empty neighborhood up there. So that's why we're going to secure it. We're going to light it. We're going to patrol it. He didn't share everything. He's going to do some things he didn't share with you. And he'll be in charge of getting you access to your properties to check on it. If you'd like to get up to your property to visit, walk in, you forgot something, whatever, the police department's going to make those arrangements. Now, there won't be a road, so we offer, the police department will transport you up and down the hill in the town's ATV. To make this work, and I don't know if you want to go into more detail, we're not going to allow non-property owners to go up there. So, you know, if you're a realtor and you want someone to look at the property be sold, we're not going to take them up there to do that. This is a security issue. It's going to be property owners only. We did have a request that one of the property owners would be allowed to look at others for them. We agree with that. We would request that there be written permission so that the police department, when you show up to look at your neighbor's property, have documentation that, one, who you are, and that you have permission to go check on their home. That's going to be run through the police department, and the chief can set up that process. I also asked in the last meeting that Kate be given good contact information for the property owners. So if we need to contact you immediately, Kate has got that information, and she'll put that together and maintain that. That'll be a two-way communication. If we need to get to your house for something, and Daniel can talk about that in just a minute, one of the things we might need to do, Kate has a contact for you. As well as if you have a question, Kate's the contact. And if we have something we need to get out information-wise to the community, Kate's the contact. So that's how we're going to work the security piece. I'm responsible for fire protection. The engineer has set the system up so fire hydrants will be maintained and operational. Hey, Councilman. And the fire department is already put together a standard operating plan so that we'll be able to access the area from the top, the bottom, and the side, should we have a fire issue up there. Shouldn't be any electrical fires if there's no power up there. Do you need to say anything else?
Yes, one other thing. Some of the property owners have also got permission to use the slopes of Ski Beach to access their property as well. That is fine. We have no problem with that. But please call the police department, come by the police department, show us your ID so that we can ensure that you're who you say you are and where you're going to be. If an officer's making patrol up there and we have no knowledge of it, well, we're going to take action. So please make sure this is done. If you've got, like the chief had already said, if you've got somebody that's going to be looking after your house for you, I need written permission before that can even be done.
That pretty clear, but and you know, we don't want to impede you from having access to your property, but we've got to be able to not be liable for letting someone in someone else's house because they said they could, and we need to know who you are. So the police officer's just doing their job. We are going to have enhanced patrols. We're going to know if you're up there, and we're going to have to take action. So just, if you'll help us, we can help you and secure your property. Daniel, and maybe Benji, you had talked about when you do the sewer, there's some, and maybe Matthew can help, there's some unknown about where the private sewers go and how we might need to get access to find out flush dye down the toilet, things like that.
Right. As it stands, we have what we believe is about 5 addresses that we're not entirely sure how they connect back to the sanitary sewer system. We're making efforts even today still to locate those connections. But should those prove not able to show us what the connection is, we may call you, that's another reason for that contact number, and ask for permission to make an entry into your home. There are ways from your crawl space, ways through your toilet spaces that we can actually run equipment to let us know where those connections are. There's a few of those along the side of Skiloft and some of them in the S curves that we're simply not aware of exactly what we're going to find. Now, with that said, we have an easy way to reconnect each one, but we will be, of course, counting every single home and every single connection to ensure that you're properly reconnected. So that would be a possibility if we call on anyone to ask you, you know, hey, we need to look at your plumbing effectively to get insurance that we're getting you back to the right sanitary sewer.
Do you have to go into anyone's homes?
As it stands, no. Not at all. We believe what we have is correct. We also believe that at this moment, what we don't know that we can find when the excavation process begins. Regardless of what we know today, as we excavate each ditch, we will find each pipe as the old pipe is removed. So that is our first place to go to get the information that we need.
Benji, did you have anything you needed to add at this point?
Well, let me just clarify the contract for the first layer of asphalt. That deadline is actually November 1st, October 1st. It's going to be the contractor's best interest to repay by October 1st. Then he won't have traffic to deal with during the day. I just want to make that clear. That by contract, they will have an extra 30 days to get that done. Because we put the onus on them that restoring utilities and access, even if it's over gravel surfaces, has to be done by October 1st.
Okay. So there'll be a gravel, at least a gravel base? Okay. Kate, how about you? Anything to add? All right, so we've got some questions here. I'm going to read these and answer them, and then we're going to open the floor up to hear what we didn't answer. So we got a question that says, what do I need to do to cut off my service on April 1st? Water and sewer. And we answered nothing. We'll take care of it. Follow the document the town has provided prior to leaving. We're going to shut off our valve. Who's going to shut off the homeowner's valve? Should they?
It's in the list, it's part of, if you leave, please cut off your homeowner's valve. We'll be disconnecting or disconnecting at the town side, so that should be double covered.
On electric, the engineer suggested that you, before you leave, you turn off your main circuit breaker. It'll be disconnected at the meter, but at some point when you're not there, the power company's gonna hook back up and turn the power on, and you don't wanna have your stove on or something like that. So if you would, disconnect your main circuit breaker, turn it off when you leave. On internet, cable, and phone, we were told by both Skyline and Spectrum that they've already made arrangements with their customers. They're gonna disconnect from the house so that when the contractor is digging, if they grab a cable, it doesn't pull off and damage something. So there should be nothing to do there. It's on the flip side, the next question is, what do I need to do to restore service after October 1st? Water and sewer, it's gonna be the same thing, right? We'll restore the water. That's why your valve should be shut off. We're not going to turn your water on. We're not going to turn your valve to let water into the house. You should be there to do that. But we will set the meter and have water to the meter. Same thing with electric. They'll turn the power on to the meter, and then you'll be responsible to turn on your main breaker. The third question, will I have to pay any cutoff or reconnect fees on any service? And the answer is no. All the town and all the utilities have waived any disconnect or reconnect fees for this project, so there'll be no charge for that. Question 4 was, when can the police department take me to my property for maintenance check? Is police permission needed to walk up, or just if I need transportation? And I think the chief answered that. Do you need to add anything to that? Okay. Again, can I check on my neighbor's house when I visit my own? I believe the chief answered that as well. Will the drone footage of Skiloft neighborhood be recorded, and can I access that online? The simple answer is no. We will make some recordings for our use, but that will not be available to the public. Who will be the paving contractor? I want to arrange paving of my parking area in connection with the project. Our answer is the paving contractor has not yet been selected, but that is not our choice. That will be the general contractor who makes that selection. So we may have knowledge of who that's going to be, but they will not be contracting with the town. Number 8, if my property, steps, parking pad, retaining walls, etc. get damaged during construction, will it be repaired before September 30th? I want to be able to rent as soon as possible this fall. And our response is, private repairs applicable to the town project are scheduled to be completed prior to September 30th. Due to the need for the contractor to focus on completing the infrastructure project in a timely manner, it is possible that unforeseen repairs or restorations may extend past the September 30th deadline. So that's government speak for, we're planning to get it done, but if we don't, we told you we might not. We've hired an electrician and a general contractor, and they will be working in conjunction with the main contractor, and they will progress and go through and remove, repair, steps, walls. What else is in there?
That's pretty much it, steps, walls.
Retaining walls are going to be through the contract. Okay. The next question, may we have confirmation that the beach top entrance wall encroaching Skiloft and Skiloft turnaround will be replaced with segmental stack block and moved to the original property boundary? What type and design? I talked about this a little bit, but the answer officially is there will be changes to the wall at the base of beach top, and design is still in progress. We're designing a engineered segmented concrete wall, correct? Sorry about that. The next question is, are the closing / reopening dates for Skiloft Road firm? And the answer is yes. We will close the road on October 1st, and we will have it open by September 30th. We hope to open it sooner than that. Obviously, opening it sooner is to everyone's benefit, and we're going to, as I explained, we have incentives to get that road open sooner than later. But currently, contractually, and with our construction easement agreement with the property owners, those are the dates. The next question, is there any waiving of county or town property taxes for the time period when the property is unavailable for use? And the answer is no. 12, will we still have to pay monthly minimum water bills while the project is underway? And the answer is no. More importantly, you won't be paying any base electric fees. Mountain Electric has waived those as well. You won't pay your water or sanitation fees to the town. And the cable companies have said that they're disconnecting and they'll reconnect after. So there should be no fees associated with either the town or the Mountain Electric while this project is underway. So Kate, did you get any more questions in those? All right, so we're going to open the floor up. I need you, because we're transmitting this, come up to the microphone and ask away. We've answered every question. Wow. I hope the project goes this smooth.
Bob, could I say, the dry utility companies did ask me to mention that although you will have suspended service, understand that in April, you will likely receive your bill, and recall that it was from the previous month. It's not reflecting the April charges, it would be from the month before. Just, they asked me to make that known before you call, so.
So we've got a set of plans up here, in case you haven't looked at them. And our engineer and Daniel, who's gonna run the project for me, if you have no official questions that you need answers to, we won't keep you, but feel free to come up. We'll be here for a few minutes and take a look at the plans and ask any specific questions. Can I get you to come up here so you can talk on the mic for the people at home that are watching?
Will there be any blasting of rock or?
It's not anticipated, right?
No.
No.
There'll be removal of rock, of course.
Right.
It'll be by hammering, no blasting.
Oh, okay. If those places have got a lot of windows, so if there's damage to the house and other things, will that be taken care of?
Yes, if the project damages private property, the project will repair it.
Okay.
What we're going to do, and I would suggest you do the same, is we're going to photograph extensively everything before we hit the road. You should do the same thing,
Okay.
so that everyone has a record of what exists, and there's less of an argument at the end of what happened.
Okay. I know the beach chalets, they take care of our property, and they'll probably be doing some of that too.
We would just need your permission to allow someone else to go in your house, and the chief can take that information.
Okay. And I'll just call, give you a
Yeah,
call.
just call the police department, give them that information.
Okay, all right. I think that's it.
Okay. Well, good.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming today.
All right, well, thanks.
Anybody else? Come on up.
I don't live up on Skiway, but I live down on Christie Way.
Okay.
And I just wondered, I've already had to sign an easement to go through. I just wondered when this project was gonna start.
It's started.
What would that?
We've signed the contract. We've given a notice to proceed.
Right.
I don't know, and I should ask you, but I don't know when Christie Way is going to be done. Do you know?
Now, I could say right now, so Christie Way will likely be later in the project.
Right.
And I'm glad you asked that. It's a good point. It's a good time to point out that obviously Skiloft is getting a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But so you're going to see equipments, trucks, and materials, but realize that as well, this is half. It's actually the smallest footage of the larger project that will be occurring across the mountain. So in other words, if you see the dump trucks and material going the wrong direction, realize they're not lost. They were probably not headed for Skiloft. We have 7 other roads that are undergoing the same type of transformation. So those have been scheduled. Some of that contract's work, Skiloft will depend on that. So they will start quickly here on Meadowview Circle and
Yeah.
head your direction.
Come down and then it goes in
Yes.
between my property and
Yes.
Don, I forgot his name, Don Reed's.
Yeah, yeah.
And it goes straight down through there, and
Yeah, so they're going to start at Meadowview and effectively get to where they can, at that point, go back to their pre-planned schedule.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Christie is actually in the 2nd year.
All right.
That
Will it
would be a
affect
little later.
being able to be able to access it? Or
No,
stuff?
no, those will be daily stoppages, you know. You may drive up that day and have to wait or have to hold up, but we have no planned closures.
I'll call you, Jackie, see if it's open or not. Thank you.
All right. Did that spur anybody's questioning? Anything?
I have a question, I need to go up.
Yes, please.
I guess this is kind of subjective, but if this project didn't come to fruition and there was catastrophic failure, then that would be a significant cost to the homeowners at Skiloft. Will there be a number that will increase their property values that you'd be able to put a finger on?
No, that's well beyond my pay grade,
Yeah.
boss. Certainly, the improvements are substantial to the neighborhood, and hopefully it will have a major positive effect on property values. You simply have to drive up the road today, I did yesterday, and you understand that an improvement has got to be worth some dollars. I can't tell you what that is.
I didn't know if any of the realtors up here, they said that they estimated a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 increase in.
Depends on what realtor you talk to.
The listing of the seller.
Yeah,
How fast do they want to buy?
that's true.
Well, but
It's
to
a
the
willing
other part
buyer.
of your question, Mayor, I would like to say this, the plans provided by West Consultants, Benji here, are great plans. They're the best case scenario for your entire neighborhood. With that said, there are built-in staging through this thing. So, you know, if we ran into that catastrophic failure at any point situation, one of the beauties of this build is it provides redundancy in several different ways. So, you know, it's extremely highly likely that there would not be anything that we couldn't overcome in some other path to restore service to allow us time to reconsider.
Well, my point was is that if this project didn't pan out, or the town didn't do it, if there was pushback or whatever, and we had there was catastrophic failure up there, there's some of those homes up there, the value would drop tremendously. Because it would have water and sewer.
It's pretty hard to sell a home without a kitchen sink or a toilet. So, I
Well,
agree.
and therein lies why we're doing this all at one time.
Correct.
The electric system has failed, and in fact, Mountain Electric held off 1 year for us. They were prepared to go up there and dig up the road and replace the electric system. We know our water and sewer system has aged out and is leaking and has failed, and so we were prepared to go up and dig up the road and replace water and sewer. So just those two components alone, this would have been a multi-year series of digging up that road. It would never have been a finished product that was of any value because someone would always be going back digging it up. So this project, I believe, by doing it all at once, as quickly as possible, we'll get a finished product that hopefully lasts for 40, 50 years, and we won't have to go back in and dig it up. But the infrastructure has failed. It has reached it's past its useful life.
With the amount of water that the town loses, 60% that's already been treated, whatever that percentage is since you're getting new lines up there, new water lines, will that reduce that number a little bit? Will have any
it will. It has to, you know. We have substantial leakage up there. We have substantial leakage everywhere. But every foot of pipe that we put in that stops a leak is a benefit to the utility. You have a question?
I'm Chappie Petrie, 106 Christie Way, and I've got a water question. It's a selfish question as far as Christie Way goes, in that rumor has it that we get our water from up near 5506 and it comes down. Last summer, some construction was going on here in this building and our water got cut off. My question is, all right, will all that Bob has mentioned, will that impact water for here at Town Hall or water on
Right,
Meadowview
yes.
and Christie Way?
Yes, sir, it will. There is specifically 4 different locations that we will be cutting in valves that will require a water shutdown. Now, we're coordinating with the contractor. We hope these are simply day-out style shortages. Should be under 8 hours if everything works perfectly, under 4 hours. But there is 4 different locations that work will have to be done. And it will affect you. Effectively, if you're on the ski slope side of the fire hydrant on Christie Way, it will turn your water off. If you're past that fire hydrant, it won't. So you can expect where you're sitting that there will be a few days. Those will be noticed. We will let those out effectively on the town's website. And of course, you can call our office at any time.
Call your office? for
Yes, yeah, Public Works, you can call, of course, call anytime you have an outage. But we do have 4 individual places that are scheduled for a matter of hours of work.
that? In your anticipation, will the new water lines for Skiloft help or adversely impact the water pressure for those homeowners and subsequently those of us who are below that area?
It will not change anything for pressure, not whatsoever. Flow availability, most definitely, and our ability to function within the system. In the past, and as it stands today, if you have a leak at your house that required the main to be worked on, the water at Emerald Mountain Tank would have to be turned off, and the entire feed zone has to stop. That's another one of the big holes that we're fixing. But it's not as big a deal for you simply because you'll have days and not 6 months of being without water.
Will they have any kind of notification?
Thank you.
Yes, we'll put it online when we have those 4 daily major outages. That's our best and most effective way. We'll post that online. We should have days or even weeks' notice on those.
And that's routine. We do that all over the mountain when we do waterworks, shut-offs, things like that. This Skiloft project, by the way, starts at the Emerald Tank. One of the valves that Dan was talking about is at the tank. So that shows you how far this project goes. It will be at the tank, it will come down to here. Part of the project, not in this contract, is, like we said, going down Meadowview. It's an extensive utility project for us, and as well as for you. Yeah.
Since the houses are gonna be closed for 6 days, mold and mildew, would the town clean up what mold and mildew is?
No. The town's not gonna be responsible for mold and mildew in your house. You should take advantage of whatever means and methods you can to prevent that. Obviously ventilation, routine checking on it would be something that I would recommend. A number of the residents have talked to us about that issue. So, but the project and the town won't be responsible for mold or mildew remediation.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right, well, I thank you all for coming. Looking forward to a really smooth project, unlike the one I have next door here. No, there's only one. Yeah, the other guy's watching. So, if there's ever any questions, don't make this the last time we meet. Call Kate, call Daniel, call the chief, depending on what your needs are. And, let's communicate throughout the summer. And, hopefully, before we get to the end of the project, we'll have little bumps in the road, no pun intended, and, we get this thing underway as smooth as possible. All right? Thank you. Thanks for coming. So we'll be here for a few minutes if you want to